What's good, guys? So in this video we're going to be simulating buying something in a game and how you may want to create that process. So let's go over what we have in our game so far. So inside replicated storage, I have a remote function named buy function. In server script service, I have 3 scripts. One is for buying items on the server, and then another is just a player added script. I have another script here. I don't know what I was going to do with that, but I'm just going to delete that for now. Don't need it. So then in starter GUI, I have a screen GUI called buy GUI, and then I have a frame inside of that just called holder. I put all of my stuff in holder frames just because it keeps everything keeps the UI very, very neat and clean, and it's easy to manage. And then I have a text button inside of the holder frame, and it's just called buy button. As you can see right here, it's just a buy button. You'll see why we have a remote function for this, but in short, it's so that when we communicate from the client to the server, we're going to get a result back to the client, and I'll show you why here in a second. But let's go to our player added script, and let's go ahead and write that up. So game.players.player added. So this is the player added event. We're going to connect it to a function, and we're going to pass in the player right here, and we're going to say local bot value is equal to instance.new. We're going to do a bool value, and then we're going to parent it to the player. We're going to say bot value dot name equals bot, and then we're going to say bot value. It should be false by default, but I'm just going to, just to be safe, I'm just going to put false. I'm going to create it to be false, and then we're going to create another value. We're going to say money's value equals instance.new. Oh, I'm tripping. I was about to put in money's value. And we're going to do an int value, and we're just going to parent it to the player. We're going to say local, or no, not local, but we're going to say money's value dot value. We'll do name first to keep it consistent. We'll do money's value dot name is equal to money's, and then we'll do money's value dot value is equal to 601. Okay. This is all we're gonna do right now for the game.players.player added. What this is gonna do is each time a player is added to the game, it's gonna create these values and it's gonna parent it to the player. So now we can have these values inside of the player. Alright, so let's go for the local script. So now we need to create a few variables. We need to first get our screen GUI. We also need to get the local player. So there's a few things that we need to get. So let's just go ahead and start getting those. We also need to get our remote function. So I first like to get replicated storage and just make that a variable. Game, get service, replicated storage. If you have a ton of functions and all this other stuff that you have to get from replicated storage, you might as well just make replicated storage its own variable, just so you don't have to type so much. Now let's get our remote function. So buy function equals replicated storage, wait for child, just so we wait for child so that if it doesn't load in yet, it won't like cause an error in our script. So yeah, and then yeah. Now let's just get the local player. So local player equals game.players.local player. And now we need to get our screen GUI. So we're just going to do local player GUI equals player wait for child player GUI, and we'll do local buy GUI equals player GUI wait for child buy GUI, Now we need to get our button. So we're gonna say local buy button equals buy GUI find first child holder find first child find first child buy button. All right. Just to make sure we have our buy button, we're just gonna print buy button real quick just to see if we have it. And we do have it. Alright, so we did get it. Now what we're going to do is we are going to say buy button dot mouse button 1 down. So this is an event, and we're going to connect it to a function. And we're going to say local buy function equals invoke. Wait, no, this is not right. Okay, we're gonna say local buy result equals buy function invoke server, and we're gonna pass in the player. Okay, so what this is going to do is each time we click this, it's going to invoke the server. And so now we have to make it to where our server script picks this up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to copy these two variables, paste them in the server script. Okay, let's see what else. We don't need any other variables. So now what we're going to do is buy function dot on server invoke equals function player, because we're passing in the player. Okay, and now we're going to make some variables, or well, for now we can just check to see if this is working. Is this working? Alright, so this should print on the server. Okay, if everything is working correctly, anytime we click, this should print on the server. Is this working? As you can see, it's printing on the server, so it is working. Alright, so now what we can do is we can search for our variables, our values that we created. So the money's value and the bot value. And we're going to create these variables on the server script. The reason why is so that exploiters will not have access to these values, so they can't cheat inside of the game. So we're gonna go local monies equals player wait for child monies local bot equals player wait for child bot. And so now we have these values and we can access these values. So we can say if bot equals if bot.value equals true, and what I like to do is create these variables. So local already bot equals, and then we can say we can cut this, paste this here. So now we can say if already bought, then we're just going to return it. But we can print, we can also print I already bought this item. Okay, I already bought this item. And then we can say if monies is less than or equal to 599, then print not enough monies, and then we can say return. Okay, so then we can say if monies is greater than or equal to 600, then monies.value minus equals 600 bot.value equals true. and then we can just make a print statement that says just purchased. Just purchased. Alright. So let's see if this works for now. Alright, let's see if we get any errors or anything like that. We do have some errors. What is this? Compare, attempt to compare with instance. Let me see what this is. Attempt to compare. Oh, okay, I see what it did. We have to put dot value. Dot value goes right here. Yeah. All right. If bot dot value, okay. And we could make these variables. Now that I'm thinking about it, we could make this so if not enough monies, okay. Cut this equals that, and then we can say if not enough monies, and then we can say local has enough monies equals, just gonna cut this. So why we're doing this is, why I do this is because it creates clean code. If we have other developers or anybody else that looks at our code, they won't have to really read through every single freaking line to understand what we're doing or what we're trying to do. Okay? They'll just be able to read it clear as day. So, has enough monies. Alright. So now let's see if this is working now. Let's see if we get any more errors. Okay, not enough monies. Alright. Let me see real quick. Not enough monies. Where's my logic at? Okay, not enough monies. If monies.value is less than. Okay, there we go. Okay. Now let's try and run it. Alright. Just purchased. And then as you can see, we just purchased it, and now it says I already bought this item. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, now that we have this set up to where we're able to purchase, and if we already purchased, we're not going to be able to purchase it again, what we're going to do is we're going to say return, because this is an on-server invoke, we're going to be able to return a value back. We're going to be able to return a value back to the client, okay? So now what we're doing is we're saying, hey, we just mouse button one down on the client side, we click the button, we're invoking the server, so we're running this function on the server while we're passing in the player as an argument, picking up our values from the player, and we're doing all the purchasing and stuff like that, and then we're returning a value back to our client. So we're going to say if true, or if by result, my bad, if by result equals true, and again we can say local by result is true equals, make sure we get our logic going in our variables so it's nice and clean. So if by result is true, then, okay, by button dot text equals bought. All right. So now, boom, we bought it, and so that's really why we do this. And then, and if you wanted to say, if you wanted to have another function outside of this, you could have a function maybe in a while loop or something, basically saying, always constantly checking if a player has bought the item, okay, then they get certain privileges in the game or something like that. You know, that's outside of what we're doing, but it's all connected. All right, and there you have it. That's pretty much it. So now let me just add in, let's add in 1300. So we should be able to buy this twice. Okay, just purchased. I already bought this item. we can't buy it again. So let's go ahead and check our values. Our bot is equal to true. Our monies is at 700. So it did take away the 600 monies. And now we're not even able to buy it again because we already bought it. All right. And that is pretty much, you know, a way that you can create a purchase system for your game.